An academic society will hold exactly 6 meetings during the next school year. 3 in the fall, 3 in the spring. Each meeting will be hosted by 5 cities: Honolulu, Montreal, Omaha, Tampa, Vancouver. With each city hosting at least 1 meeting, no city will host more than 1 meeting per semester. The following constraints hold. If Honolulu hosts a meeting in fall, then Montreal must also host a meeting in the fall. If Vancouver hosts a meeting in the spring, then Tampa must host a meeting in the spring. In each semester, either Montreal or Vancouver or both must host a meeting. Question: if the only meeting the Montreal hosts in the spring, which of the following must be true? So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and put in Montreal's in the spring. Now I'm going to go ahead and bold it just to make sure that it can't move around. It's going to have to be in that spot. So if Honolulu is in the fall, Montreal must be in the fall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put H in the spring, because if I put H in the fall, then M has to be in the fall. So I'm going to put H in the spring. From there, V is in the spring, then T is in the spring. So technically, I could have V and T up here. I could even have what you consider T in the spring. Then I could have V in the fall. From there, I gotta in-place the letter O. Nothing says I can't put the letter O in here. Nothing says I can't place the letter O in both cities. So let's use these two worlds for this question here. And this one I'm going to put T here as well. So let's go ahead and use these two worlds. And the reason why I put T, because if I put O, there's going to be O in the same city. So I can't have O in the same exact fall. So I'm going to put T. That way I have one each in each where you consider respective semester. So with these two worlds, let's go ahead and answer the questions. A, Honolulu hosts a meeting in both semesters. No, we see H in spring. B, T hosts a meeting in both semesters. That is possible. That could be true. H hosts a meeting in the fall only. No. O hosts a meeting in the spring only. No. T hosts a meeting in the spring only. No. And if you guys wonder where I'm seeing no, because I'm looking at it right now where it says T hosts a meeting in the spring only, and I see T's in the spring here, but also T's here in the fall, and T's also here in the fall by itself. So that's why I'm saying no. The only choice that makes sense here is just T has a meeting in both semesters. Answer B. T hosts a meeting in both semesters. 13. Question: if Omaha hosts 2 of the meetings, which of the following must be true? So I'm going to try to do as quickly as possible. So I'm going to put O here. I'm going to put an O here. I'm going to go ahead and do the same exact thing on the second world. I bolded it so I can make sure that it can't move around. If H is in the fall, M is in the fall, so I'm going to put H here. And then I'm going to put M there as well. If V is in the spring, T is in the spring. So if V is in the spring, T is in the spring. Since this is a must be true, I'm just going to go ahead and just make sure it's slightly different. Let me see if H is in the F. So I'm going to put H in the spring this time. I am gonna be allowed to put M up here. If V is in the spring, so I'm gonna put V in the fall. Now I'm gonna put T down here. That way I have a slightly different world. Now with this question, let's go ahead and answer this question of both the worlds that we created. A, H hosts a meeting in the fall only. No, because we see it in the second world in the spring, so we'll go ahead and eliminate it. T hosts a meeting in the fall. No, we see in the spring, so go ahead and eliminate it. M hosts a meeting in the spring. We actually see it in the fall, so go ahead and eliminate it. H and V hosts a meeting in the same semester as each other. I don't see H and V together, so no. T and V host a meeting in the same semester as each other. I do see T and V. And if you're having difficulty seeing it, I'm going to go ahead and just highlight it the best I can so that way you guys have a visual view. And this is what I'm talking about right here where it says V and T. That's going to be the area where I'm communicating about that shows the information that they are together. So go ahead and select it. And we got it correct. Now go ahead and moving on. 14. Which of the following cannot be an accurate partial matching of cities in which the same semester in which they host meetings? So we see that they have the options here. H is in the fall, H and V is in the spring. According to the rules, that is possible. M's in the fall, H and T. Well, what the thing is with M, if H is in the fall, then M has to be in the fall, so that's fine. I see here H is in the fall for D. That means that M has to be fall and M's in the spring, so that's not going to work out because according to the conditions here, if you see it, it's circled right now, that if H is in fall, M is in fall, and this one has H in fall, but M is in spring, so that's going to go against the conditions, so we're going to choose that as the cannot be true, and I'm going to go ahead and highlight cannot. Answer D. F for fall, H and T, S for spring, M. Moving on. And that was question 14, and we were able to solve it by looking at the conditions. 15. Which of the following cannot be in either semester in the group cities hosting in 3 meetings? With this one right now, let's see if we can answer it with just these 4 worlds that we created. Look for cannot. So if you see it, just go ahead and eliminate it. HMT. I see it right here. HMT, so I'm going to go ahead and eliminate it. HMV. I don't see HMV at all, so that could be it. CHOV. I don't see that at all. So right now I have 2 choices. HTV. I also don't see HTV. MOV. I do see MOV here, so I'm going to go ahead and eliminate it. We have 3 choices. This is too much data at the moment right now. This wasn't really a good choice to select. So let's see if we can come back to that at this moment. Question 16. If T hosts a meeting, T I'm gonna put, with this information, I'm going to put T here at the end. And I'm going to go ahead and bold it. Select it. I'm going to create another world here too. Also, I'm going to be using this world as well because and I see that the option is available. So since the option is available, I'm going to go ahead and what you consider bold it. So now I got 3 worlds. I'm going to go ahead and fill this in really quickly. If H is in fall, M is in fall. If V is in spring, T is in spring. So we could put H in spring here, and then we could put M over here. We could put V in the fall, and then T. We're not going to put T over here though, but we can definitely put another variable called O. And for this one, we can put another variable called O. So now we have 2 worlds, actually 3 worlds. 1, 2, 3, with the T's at the end that are bold. So let's go ahead and see if we can answer this as quickly as possible. H and V both must hold a meeting in the fall. So H and V, I don't see that to be true. Go and eliminate it. M and O both host meeting in fall. M and O, nope. M and V both host meeting in the fall. M and V in the fall. I do see that to be true here. D, M, and O both host meeting in spring. M and O, no. M and V both host meeting in the spring. M and V. No, the only one I see possible is just C. Keep in mind with question 16, either M or V or MV must be in a semester. Here we don't see MV, so we're gonna have to adjust this. So this does have to be what you consider meet the variable. So if H is in fall, H is in F, M's in F, so we have H and S. So M could be in F. If V's in the spring, T has been in spring. So technically we can have V here. And then we can put O here. So that way you can meet all the conditions here as well. So with this being in mind, we have 3 worlds with T's at the end. Now let's go ahead and solve this as quickly as possible. H and V both host a meeting in the fall. So H and V in fall. Don't see that. M, O both host in fall. M, O, I see it in here. So that could be true. M and V both host meeting in fall. M and V, no. M and O both host meeting in the spring. M and O in spring, no. M and V both in spring. M and V in spring, no. The only one I see is just B. Go ahead and select it. Answer B. Montreux and Omaha both host meeting in the fall. 17. If H hosts a meeting in the fall, which of the following must be true? So basically, out of all the worlds we created, instead of coming up with a new world right now, let's just go ahead and circle where we see H in the fall. And that's going to help us out right now, so we don't have to create another game piece. So right now, we just have 2 worlds, which is amazing. So we got these 2 right now we can work with. Those 2 worlds that we see right now, let's just go ahead and stick with those 2. And I'm going to go ahead and try to box it in, so that way we know which ones we're sticking with right now at this moment. Just these 2 in the box. O hosts a meeting in the fall, not in the second world, so go ahead and eliminate it. M hosts a meeting in the spring, not true in either one, go ahead and eliminate it. O hosts a meeting in the spring, I see that to be true, go ahead and stick with it. T hosts a meeting in the spring, that seems to be true as well, go ahead and stick with it. V hosts a meeting in the spring, that also seems to be true. So with that being said, we actually have 3 options here that are going to be what you consider possible. So what I'm going to do is just go through each of those questions that I left. So C, O hosts a meeting in the spring. O hosts a meeting in the spring seems to be true. T hosts a meeting in the spring seems to be true as well. V hosts a meeting in the spring. For question 17, I was able to create 2 more worlds where we're going to see the combination of H in the fall. And we see it here too, H in the fall. So let's go ahead and answer this question again. So O is in the spring. We see O in the fall here, so go ahead and eliminate it. T in the spring. We see T in the spring, so go ahead and keep it. V in the spring. We see V in the spring, but we also see V in the fall. And technically, we can have we could have V in the spring and T in the spring as well. And technically as well, it's going to be between these 2 answers right here. since there's two V's, to be fair, you're going to have to remove one of them. And the one I would go about removing is seeing if it's possible to actually remove V. Because if you remove T, then you don't have T at all. So you're going to have to input another variable here. And it's really a best start to put V in the fall. It's better to put another variable such as M, because that's technically H the fall, M's in the fall. You put V here, and then you're going to left with the another variable that you can utilize as far as like O. And that you will kind of see that in this position here, V and T are in the spring. So with that being said, V is according to condition if V is in spring, T is in spring. So V is kind of forcing T in this position because of the conditions. If V, then T. So I will go ahead and select T as the answer. Answer D, Tampa host meeting in the spring semester. Now let's go back to the question that we didn't answer that was left. Which one of the following cannot be in either semesters the group of cities hosting the class? So let's just look at the boards. If we see it, we'll go ahead and eliminate it. For question 15. HMT, I see HMT here. Let's go and eliminate it. HMV. If we don't see it, we're just going to go ahead at this point, just choose it. And we see HMV. HOV. Don't see. Don't see. HTV now. HTV. So I see HTV here, so I'm going to go ahead and eliminate it. MOV. MO. And I see MOV here, so let's go eliminate it. So now it's between HMV and HOV. So for this one, I copied down the B, HMV for fall, and HOV for spring. Now I needed a T, and according to the rules, if V is in spring, so T is going to be in spring. So right away, that makes me adjust the HOV, so that's not going to be allowed. So that way I know for a fact, since it's not allowed, it cannot be true. Answer C, HOV. So this is for game 3.